What's up, y'all? This is Jay with Scraps and Taps, and we're fucking back, y'all. We're fucking back. I know. Did you miss me? I missed me. Did you miss my beautiful voice? Do you like that condensed milk? Only OGs will get it.
You like that condensed milk? You like
That's,
that?
gives it some earth.
You love it.
Nice and earthy.
All right.
And my bowl of Cocoa Crisps.
Guys, we are here to do the recap for UFC Fight Night Seattle. I mean, what an event. Absolutely barn burner of an event. Seattle, I feel like Pacific Northwest always knows how to bring it down. Seattle has some really good cards. But anyways, y'all, before we get into that, how's everybody's week? On Sunday, I went on a nice little hike. I don't know if you guys seen the movie Ready or not, but that came out, the second one. It was actually pretty good. But my hike was even better than that, I'd say. It was very nice to get in nature. Maybe I'll put a side-by-side here of these nice little buzzards flying up and around the mountain. Honestly, the hike kicked my ass. It was only like about a mile and a half, but it was the elevation that I got, even though like my peak elevation was like maybe 400 feet or something. Dude, I'm so fucking out of shape. It kills me to do a hike now. I swear to God, I felt like passing out maybe 2 or 3 times. So I'm glad I didn't, so I could bring you this UFC Fight Night Seattle.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
So let's take a look at what we got. Oh, fuck, it's gonna be shakiest thing, and I did partake in a little bit of the devil's lettuce, you might be able to tell. But anyways, let's get to it. So let's start with this weird one. Okay, we'll go a little bit down. Let's go down, actually. Let's go to some notable ones. We had Casey O'Neill knocking out Gabriela Fernandez. And O'Neill, we know her for her volume punches, and she has actually had a really long, hard recovery back into getting into the octagon. I believe she said 3 reconstructive knee surgeries or 3 knee surgeries that put her out for over a year. And she was able to knock out Gabriela Fernandez, and I mean, just put an absolute beating on her against the fence. I mean, she was knocking her out while she was still up. She was still on like the fence, still standing up, just absolutely absorbing so many punches, and the ref had to step in. Let's get this weird one right here. Number 8, Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. If I'm being honest, I didn't watch a majority of the fight. I actually didn't even watch any of the fight. I'm lying to you. I only got to the scorecard, so it was really funny to get there right as the scorecards were being read. And obviously, I know nothing about what happened during the fight, so obviously I think Tybura's won just because of what's going on. I hear all the booing in the crowd, and at this point, I'm like, okay, they could just be hating him because he's not from in the area, and they're really about their guys right now. But no, it turns out that Bruce Buffer had made a mistake, and big old Brucey, he hasn't had a lot of mistakes, so he's had a good track record. But it brings me back to the time that I think it's Joe Rogan made him do like a spin. And I think there was another event where he may have hurt his knee or something like that. But, man, Bruce Buffer, the best in the game. It happens every once in a while. It was really funny to hear him say that he had made a mistake right on the mic. You can obviously hear it throughout all the crowd. I mean, crazy. But Fortune ends up getting the win over Marcin Tybura, which is big for a debut to get over the number 8 guy in the division. I mean, good stuff for Tyrell Fortune. Then, oh my goodness, this was like watching a guy die right in front of you. Like, oh my God. Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. And Lance Gibson Jr., he looks fucking jacked. And Chase Hooper, Gooner Squad, that guy goons forever. Goon God, some people may say. But he was absolutely taken out by Lance Gibson with, Chase was I feel like he was trying to be too slick out there, and not being too slick as in, he was trying to set up something pretty. You can see he was trying to look for the angles and that, and he wasn't keeping his hands up. And man, what Lance Gibson Jr. did as he was trying to kind of frame him out either to throw a knee or nothing, but I think Chase was probably looking for that knee was coming up, but instead Lance Gibson just throws a a hell of an elbow right into Chase, and it was a short elbow right into Chase's side of his face, and it looked like maybe it had ruptured something in his ear or like blown up his cauliflower if he has any. Um, Blew up his ear. His ear starts bleeding, and you can tell Chase is just out. And he rolls towards his back, and I mean, it was lights out for Chase Hooper. Really, really hitting him so fucking hard. I mean, he fell backwards, did a back roll, and then Lance Gibson just came up and just finished the fucking fight. Like, those short elbows are wow. You got to watch out. You got to defend yourself at all times, and that was pretty nasty KO from Lance Gibson. I mean, you got to watch out for this guy's Muay Thai. It's pretty beautiful. All right, then we get Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tofik Musayev, and Bahamondes, man, was looking good during the fight. It was still going back and forth kind of in the beginning, but then at one point, Bahamondes hits him with a beautiful combo that fucking sits Tofik down and gets him towards the fence. And as he's getting towards the fence, this is where the bullshit happens. And this is where, I mean, right in front of the ref's fucking face, this happened. He grabs the fence, which completely negates Bahamondes' takedown. And, I mean, absolutely starts this kind of turn in the fight where Tofik could have been finished. I mean, he was looking out. But, you know, Chael Sonnen would have applauded his, even though it was crazy what he got away with, right? And then at this point, this is where the fight starts turning. Tofik starts laying it on the ground and pound. And what I will say, Bahamondes just could not get away from scratching his, like, not scratching, turning his, what the fuck am I talking about, y'all? He could not stop from hooking his own feet on Tofik and not really trying to stand up. And I know it's easier said than done, but like every position, it seemed like Ignacio was kind of locking himself in to that position where Tofik was just absolutely raining down on him, and it was a fucking bloodbath. I mean, if I'm gonna post some of these pictures, hopefully, but I mean, it was a bloody battle from both guys, and I think Tofik probably had a lot more blood on his face from Bahamondes, and I mean, Bahamondes just got cut so bad in the fight. I mean, there was a point where the octagon was obviously the octagon canvas color, and it turned completely red, like blood red, like if somebody had just got shot and died in there. Like, it was insane. And for them, and then, okay, the blood aside, right? The second infraction came in as a headbutt that went straight into Bahamondes' head as he's going down to try to get in his chest, or what I'm assuming is in his chest. But he takes his fucking head, and with this big old fucking melon head, just fucking bam, hits him right in the fucking face, and right in front of the ref too. I mean, it was two cheats that honestly got him the win. I mean, he was getting beat down, but that really should have been, a point taken away, or like I don't know. You could even go. That was a pretty nasty. Two nasty things to do. But I mean, it was an absolute domination from Tofik Musayev, absolutely getting it on the ground. I think only one time Bahamondes towards the end of the fight was able to switch positions, and even then he didn't keep it for a long time. But it must have been so slippery having all that blood in your face. I mean, absolute bloodbath. Then we go Terrence McKinney. And we all know Terrence McKinney is going to go for that fast knockout. He was fighting Kevin Nelson. And man, McKinney said, fuck that shit. I'm going to do it again. And he fucking knocks him out in under a minute. And I think Terrence McKinney has like the time with the least amount in the octagon, which is crazy to think, actually. Let me look that up. I'm working here, y'all. I'm working here. Dude knocked him out in 24 seconds. Man, 17 first round finishes. Jeez. And has the most sub-minute finishes in US. Not the most. Anthony Johnson has the most. And he's tied with Vitor Belfort at number 4. So he's coming up on some history here if he can get another first-minute knockout. Wow. That's crazy. And the craziest thing about that, and we'll get into more of that later, no post-fight bonuses for this guy. 17 first minute finishes. Fuck, the UFC's pissing me off lately. Then we get Mansour Abdul Malik versus Yusri Belgaroui. But anyways, Yusri is a student of Teixeira's and Alex's training partner, and Mansour Abdul Malik is I believe, an undefeated fighter at this point, who's supposed to be very explosive. But actually, dude, Belgaru just put the beat down on Mansour Abdul Malik in every sort of fashion that he could have. Really laid it on him thick, really didn't let him breathe. He did start getting kind of gassed out, I think, in the third, but I mean, he has also fought in Glory Kickboxing, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, Abdul Malik just tried to wrestle him, and it didn't really work out in any of the fight at all. It was just a lot of wasting the energy. But he was trying, he was trying to get in the fight. I mean, he took a lot of damage on the feet. And like I said, Belgaru gets the decision. And then we have Julian Erosa versus Lehian Douglas. And Lehian Douglas just fucking, again, puts the beat down on Julian Erosa. And Julian Erosa is a tough fighter. But, man, the gunslinger pulls it out and gets it done in round 1. Shoo. Man. And the thing is, me. If you listen at some point, I love legends. I love the legends. I always wish they would go out on a fucking win. And sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. And I finally got one. Since I started this. Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. And you feel bad. You do feel bad. All right, let's get this off the top. Nico Price really paid the price to fucking also retire on the same day. I mean, they knew Michael Chiesa was retiring, and Michael Chiesa has had a much more storied career than Nico Price. Let's be real. I mean, Nico Price has been in there with some good fighters as well. But this was Michael Chiesa's night. And, pretty much took Price down super fast, took his back, and with the rear naked choke, he gets his fairy tale ending in Seattle. I mean, it was some tearjerker shit. I was, I had a man tear right here. And, yeah, man, like that. It's always cool to see the legends go off like that. And, they gave him the whole package. And if you don't know his story about his father passing away and the Ultimate Fighter and just the stuff he's been through, I mean, it's a very, very great story. And now he can focus on doing the desk and being a commentator. And hopefully we see him in the booth. I think he's probably one of the better fighters out there to be an analyst. And, he's, top of the line. And, man, to get it done, Seattle must be crazy. And, dude, the pictures of his wife and his family, oh, my goodness. It was a beautiful ending for a good career for Michael Chiesa. Then we get our co-main event, Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. And in round 1, Grasso was just shows why she's a fucking bad motherfucker in the women's division. I mean, absolutely floors with the counter left Macy Barber. And as fast as I can remember, like maybe the fastest jump on a sub I've seen from anybody is when Ortega jumped on Volk's neck and got that guillotine that everybody thought was going to end the fight. Like, that crazy shit. If you guys have never seen that, I promise it will blow your mind how close Volk was to fucking tapping. But Grasso just comes out with, like I said, that counter left and just jumps on this rear naked choke that, I mean, absolutely, I mean, it hurt me to see. But yeah, Grasso landing one of the nastiest knockouts in, man, probably the longest time I've seen. I'm trying to think. Like, one that shocked me was probably just the Holly Holm Rousey kick. Like, that was crazy. But this one was wow. Jumped on it like a little spider monkey and literally ended Macy Barber's shit. Had her wrestling Mike Beltran, the referee, and she passed out. I mean, it was some crazy things. And she was passed out for a pretty long time. So it's good to see that she was out on her own 2 feet out of the cage. And, oof, man. Grosso's rear naked choke is something to be studied. I mean, she must have like rebar in her forearm because she is choking these women out. And fair, to say that maybe Macy Barber was already out on the way down. And, but man, that was just like such a violent way of jumping on that. Like, it was so crazy to see how fast that was. Then we get our main card, right? Guys, not all legends get to do how, they want to do it. My boy Izzy, guys. Oh, all our freestylers, right? That's what the freestyle bender fans are called, freestylers. Man, I mean, Israel still was looking good. He did look a little sucked up at the weigh-ins, not gonna lie, man. And Joe Pyfer looks fucking massive, dog. I mean, he looks like a fucking pit bull. If Pitbull was a human, the dog, not the singer, the dog, Joe Pyfer is like a fucking pit bull. Like, he's fucking huge and he looks pretty intimidating. I'm not gonna lie, man. And then, like, in round 1, Pyfer was just trying to shoot. The best thing to do for Pyfer was to wrestle, and that's exactly what his plan was. I mean, but Pyfer is just a big guy trying to throw these punch combos, and pretty much at this point, Adesanya's getting some leg kicks throughout round 1, and Pyfer finishing along the fence during at the end of round 1. And in round 2, Pyfer was just landing the hard shots, and Adesanya was giving him giving it to him on the feet and trying to also piece together some combos. But Adesanya just couldn't make it off the fence, and Pyfer gets it taken down into the center of the cage. And just from there moved into full mount, and then Adesanya just rolls and gives us his back. And at this point, he's getting ridden. He's getting Saturday Night Ride, where it's like your legs are up in the air and just unloading these ground and pound from the sides. And, you don't want to see your boy Izzy go out like that. But, he dies on his shield, and he gets and Pyfer gets the biggest win of his career right now. And, yeah, it was really sad to see Izzy go out like that. I mean, he was getting pretty fucked up at the end of that. But I mean, yeah, Pyfer is just one bad dude right now, and he's probably moving up the rankings, moving up a pretty good step in the rankings. And I don't know. I've been seeing posts about who it is, if Izzy wants to still fight, and I saw a post about maybe running it back with Costa. I saw MVP too, but I feel like MVP would just kind of be like a fight where they kind of know each other and they're kind of willing to just, again, have a sparring match. Kind of the same thing with the Woodson MVP fight that just happened. I feel like it would just be the same shit. And but Costa, they said, and maybe if he wants to get back in there like with a tough dude, throw him in there with fucking Fluffy Hernandez, both on a loss. Fluffy losing to Strickland and Adesanya losing to Pyfer. I mean, could be a good fight. I mean, that's a tough fight, but I think I'd rather watch Costa jump in there. Give him a fun fight. I think that would be a good fight for him. So, and Piper. I mean, Piper's knocking on the door of some maybe top 5 talents now. Probably any of those guys, Rainier DeRitter, fucking Fluffy. But yeah, that was UFC Fight Night Seattle. It was a good amount of knockouts, a good amount of finishes in this fight. We got a bloodbath in there. So Seattle delivered. So last week, the UFC was saying that they are no longer covering expenses for team accommodations and travel, right? And I feel like this is probably the biggest fuck you to these fighters. Like, you're telling me that this company is acting like a fucking startup company, that it's barely 1 year on its legs, and you got to start fucking cutting corners and trying to save money and penny pinch all this money. Like, he really is acting like he spent his last penny on the last business he'll ever have that will save him from blowing his fucking brains out. I mean, it's really giving extreme couponer at this point. Except you're playing with people's lives, and if they ever film a live SpongeBob movie, I want first ballot Mr. Krabs to be Dana White. It's really fucking cartoonish how much this fucking guy is trying to save money. Like, I swear, does anybody let him know that he just sold his company for $7.7 billion? And it's just not, you just can't keep saying that. Like I can just keep going off about that shit, bro. Like, where is that money going to? It's the PIs? Is it going to Power Slap? I want to know. And like I said, you're telling me that the team of these fighters who help make this company pretty much what it is, the company's not Dana, it's these fighters who help them get to your event, put them in the best shape that they're possibly going to be at that time, and then all the possible game planning with all the multiple coaches and multiple partners, and now it's just the head coach that gets this treatment. So you're telling me that the team of fighters who help you get to your event, with the multiple coaches, all the game planning, all the multiple partners, and I get that there's a limit. Like, I'm pretty sure whatever it is now was working for however many fucking years it's been. And I feel like it's just Dana trying to systematically just add an extra headache for these fighters and their team. Like, not only that, it's like now this is going to have to be coming out of these fighters' pockets and all this. And it's just almost like he's systematically trying to cut his roster by, like, financially putting him in pretty deep holes. Like, only one of your team is going to be able to make there, and that's your head coach. And I don't know, like, like, we've seen some of the greatest teams out there, multiple guys, Raging Al with fucking Ray Longo and fucking Benil Dariush. You just seen him on this team. Fucking Belgari. He has fucking Alex Pereira and fucking Glover Teixeira on his team. I mean, fucking American Top Team has fucking Mike Brown. Fucking all these other fighters. I mean, it's just like, I wouldn't even imagine that he does this for, like, anybody that's not in the top 10. Like, even top 10 seems like a crazy financial hardship that's going to sink Dana. It's I feel like it's Dana entering his Kingpin era. It's like 100% villainous. Yeah, like, it feels very villainous at this point. Like, he is really turning into this picture of him getting his fucking huge ass Kingpin arms, like, and as his hate for his fighters feel his huge, massive, he's going to explode. I mean, especially after the Seattle, the post-fight press conference where he's talking about this.
See, or do you have any insight on that?
What does that mean?
AI stuff, commercials, part of the promotional content, just AI in the UFC in general. I've seen fans complaining about.
Oh, yeah? What are they complaining about?
I guess I've seen people saying that the UFC should be paying artists instead of using generative AI, stuff like that.
Give me a fucking break. AI is coming, and if we're using AI, who gives a shit? People are upset about it. We should use artists. How about this? Shut the fuck up and watch the fights.
Video, but like the UFC using these AI assets, and of course, like Dana's like, why wouldn't we use it? Why wouldn't you? Like, you're diluting your own product at this point. And it's like AI takes the most median fucking bullshit and it gives you the average of what it is and just gives you this copy and paste. Like, there's no fucking being original. I mean, and you give artists, when they do this, you give artists a chance to have their art get a ton of eyes. And, something that takes them hours and days to do. I'm going crazy about this because I work in an industry that's kind of like this. It's a industry that's moving here and there, being bought by other people, and and it's, as we speak, being severely impacted by AI. All these shows that could be made, all these TV movies and all that stuff, and it's taking a lot of good money from a lot of hardworking people that really want to earn it. And I feel like AI can just be for ballerina cappuccina and tung 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 sahur and all that fucking bullshit. But like, before this, we were begging for some posters and something, and like, dude, some of these artist series posters are just even way better and blow the fucking UFC posters out of the fucking water. Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, look at some of these posters. These are probably the most beautiful things you laid your eyes on, and it's just so fucking tight. And yeah, it's just crazy to see that Dana would talk like this and try to fucking make sense of this and act like we're just gonna fucking want to sit here and accept it. And it does suck also too that there's not a lot of media members who want to go out there and go against Dana. And I understand he probably is gonna revoke your credential the second he does it, but man, it's just like, it's just hard to hear how much this sport is just like, just let it, like, it's going to be just ran by itself at this point, and Dana knows that. And he knows that a lot of this is what on the shoulders of fighters. And even though we care about the fighters, how much more can we do? It's kind of insane. Like, I've been hearing the term monopoly go around about this, and it's starting just to seep in a little bit more. Now you see with the MVP card and how hard Ronda's fighting for it. It's just like, it's kind of easier to see that this is just, the UFC just has a market cornered right now of having the best fighters, but also locking them into these insane contracts that are like 8-fight deals. I mean, come on, dude. What the fuck are you talking about here? Like, I'm pretty sure some people want to do the rest something else with their fucking lives. Like, I don't know. That's so fucking insane to me. And now we finally get the full MVP card that will be on Netflix for free. And we know the first 3 fights: Rousey Carano, Ngannou Lins, and my main event, Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. But now we get the rest of the fleshed out card, and it's looking interesting here. Now we know the first 3 of the main event: Rousey Carano, Ngannou Lins, and my main event, Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. Damn, it's going to be a fucking good ass fight. But this is what the rest of the card is looking at. We got Saladin Pernas versus Kenneth Cross, Junior Dos Santos versus Robeli de Spain. I don't know if I said that right. Muhammad Makayev versus Adriano Moraes, Lorenz Larkin versus Jason Jackson, Namo Fazil Jake versus Jake Babian, and David Mogoyan versus Albert Morales, Aileen Pereira versus Jade Masson Wong, and Chris Avila, I think it was versus Jenkins, something Jenkins. I'm going to look that up. But anyways, Dos Santos fighting for the UFC versus Robeli de Spain, who's coming, who was in the UFC for a short time, and then who was in the UFC at the time, but then he started fighting for Karate Combat. We have Mokaev, who was in the UFC as well and is fighting at Brave Combat Federation, and he was earning his way back into the UFC. At least that's what we thought. And now he's showing up on this card. He's fought people like Manel Cap, Tim Elliott, and he'll be fighting one championships Adriano Moraes at 130, their 135-pound champ. And his most notable win is his knockout of Demetrius Johnson at 1. Got knee to the face, and it was it for Demetrius. We get Jason Jackson, who was in the UFC, and Jason Jackson versus Lorenz Larkin. Lorenz Larkin was like a UFC Bellator fucking veteran. Fought people like Benson Henderson, Paul Daly, Douglas Lima, Yaroslav Amosov, Ray Cooper the third. Wow, probably some PFL stuff. Yeah, probably fought in the PFL. And then Larkin is going to be stepping back into the octagon since his first time since September of 2024. Man, when Bellator was still going on. Also has some wins over some legends like Robbie Lawler, Jorge Masvidal, Ponzinibbio, and Parnas is probably one of the biggest prospects that we have in this whole card, winning 22 of 24 professional fights. He fights for the KSW banner. He's the reigning lightweight champion. Has also been the featherweight champ, and then I think he tried to go for the third at welterweight, but he didn't get it. He's going to be fighting Kenneth Cross, former Dana White Contender Series. So that is pretty much the rest of the card. I don't have the rest of the information here, but Aileen Pereira is Alex's sister. Chris Avila is one guy that Nate Diaz will always put on a card, so make sure you see Nate's name there. Chris Avila is somewhere on that card fighting. And the card is looking pretty good, and that is the MVP full MMA card, the first MMA card to ever be on Netflix. Okay, we got some stuff going on there. Like, since the dust has really settled on this, MVP will have to take time if they want to compete with the UFC, but for this being their first card to have all this sort of borrowing talents from other organizations, and like I said before, the thing is the UFC is just cornering the market of the best fighters, but not allowing the best fighters in the UFC to go test their talents globally, and this is just kind of like a little one. Like, if you go back to Seattle, you have an unranked guy making his debut fighting the number 8 ranked Marcin Tybura. So this guy is basically, who is this guy coming in here thinking he's going to be coming into, trying to take a ranked spot in this division. And anyone can have anybody's number on any given night. So I feel like that's why this MVP card is just so important, because it shows what can be done when other people take their champs, take their fighters, and let them go do what they want. And I'm pretty sure every organization that has been involved here, KSW, PFL, Bare Knuckle, is loving that their fighters are just showing out for each of their own respective promotions. And the fact that we have some serious global prospects attached to this card, whether the fighters win or lose, it's going to raise this sport to a whole different level. And it's going to be, very interesting what happens after the card. What does it look like? Well, first, what does it look like, and what is the reaction going to be after the card? I'm going to be excited to see how they ramp up also all this promo and stuff for the card. But yeah, MVP making a splash. Well, y'all, it's going to be it for me. This is Jay with Scraps and Taps. I hope everybody has a nice rest of their week.